Welcome to Wicked Honest True Crime,
Episode 3.
Episode 3, True Crime Friday. Welcome back. I'm Diane,
I'm Keri.
and we are talking about the brutal murder, slaying of Susan Taraskiewicz. And this is, again, Episode 3. We wanted to start off with a little, I think every show we're going to do a disclaimer.
Yep.
We are by no means saying someone committed this crime. Everyone we mentioned, names are already in public records. People that are not in public records, we are going to not say their names.
Or if they requested that.
Oh, yeah, if they
it was
requested
a
anonymity.
source. Yep.
So we have multiple sources, all kinds of information coming in. We're utilizing police reports, witness accounts.
Yeah.
Am I missing anything?
Nope. Just basically the names that we're repeating have been out there for a long time. Nobody's been convicted of this crime. So we're not stating that anybody is guilty just because we mentioned their name.
Yeah.
Type situation.
It's a cold case. It's an active case. And any information you call Massachusetts State Police, Suffolk County, the number will appear on the screen at some point during the show. And anything you'd like to share with us, we'd love to hear.
Yes, absolutely.
This is a real active, this isn't wrapped up in a bow. This isn't a polished YouTube show. We're doing this in real time as I'm writing a book on this case, working with 2 retired police officers. They're providing a lot of information. So we're learning all kinds of stuff actively in real time. So if there's anything that needs correcting, if we misspeak sometimes, this is a lot of homework. As I'm trying to write a book, as we're working, you're raising 5 kids,
Yeah.
And we took this on because I was very connected to this. And we grew up in the area. Sue's face on the billboard always haunted me, and you remember that image very well. We spoke about it at length. But this is a YouTube show primarily, we like to think of it as, and it's on the podcasts too, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify. But in the show notes, if you'd love to support the show,
There's a link.
There's a link. If you'd like to support us, please leave a comment too. If anything that you want to say, any information. But it does. True crime has already cost us a fair amount of money.
Yeah.
Not that we're complaining, but we're going out, boots on the ground, meeting with people, talking to some people, buying some lunches. What else are we buying?
Cottons of cigarettes.
Cigarettes, jewels, whatever it takes to get some information.
Whatever it takes to get the answers.
We are not above it.
Yeah.
But, if you'd like to support us in our endeavors while we...
Yeah, to be clear, the cottons of cigarettes and jewels weren't for us.
Not yet, but as the more this goes on,
Yeah, exactly.
It's hard to keep track of everything. Full disclosure, it's really hard. Every show we're saying about so much stuff, and it's like, oh my God, did we say that? And then you're learning things, and you're like, oh God, what did we say?
Yeah.
Then I think with our adult, my adult onset,
Mine has been forever.
You're forever ADHD. I watched the show getting prepared.
Yeah.
And then it's like right out the window.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, did we say that? So I take some notes.
Yeah.
And I wanted to go over a couple of things that since the last episode.
Yeah.
Because you brought this up. You started watching doing a deep dive, watching all the things.
Yes.
On the case.
Sue. Yes. All the things, Sue.
Yeah. So she's hitting me up saying, did you hear this? So then I'm confirming some of the information you're finding with some sources.
Yeah, and I wanted to make sure that the stuff that was being regurgitated and said was true, or that there was a source for it, or that it was somewhere. And
it's so hard, even writing the book, as I'm saying, there's so much information. And sometimes you just assume if it's said here, here, and here, it's true. And credible publications and things like that will source their information, but a lot of podcasts do too. Dark Down East is one of them that's great, sources all their information. Some don't, and I'm not even judging them. It's very hard, and some of them just tell a lot of the things that are already out there.
Right, and that's why when I was questioning things that hadn't come up with us in our discussions, I wanted to make sure that they were correct before just regurgitating more stuff that had already been.
And it's hard to do. So I usually say in the book, and then even here, and I hate saying this so much because it sounds like, geez, does she know anything? Because that's not confirmed.
Yeah.
That's not confirmed. That's not confirmed. When I say that a lot, that means I haven't personally vetted this
Or
from a
you've tried to
source.
vet it and there's been no credible source that you could find.
Yes, that doesn't mean it's not true and it's already out there. There's a lot of things out there, and a
Right.
lot of the things that the family has spoken of or that you could allude to, and so on and so forth. So this
What were
doesn't,
some of the things that I was asking you about that you wanted to review
so
before we
you
get
said,
into?
well, you did say on you heard on a show, I think it was a show or an article, that so Sue, you were stuck on, she went to go get food at the sandwich shop. Employees punched her out. She never returned.
Yeah.
Punched her out. I mean, we're all stuck on that. Employees punched her out when she had 5 hours left in her shift.
Mm-hmm.
Very odd. You heard on a show the money was recovered in her car for the food.
Correct.
So I did source that out with a very reliable source.
I mean, we know she never got to the sandwich shop to pick it up, but it wasn't a robbery.
Yeah, and we did speak of last episode. There wasn't robbery or sexual assault. I did source the money. I was told from my incredibly reliable source that the money was recovered. That's all he said. He
Yeah.
did not say the
Where
car.
or how,
but I will
But
tell
you would assume that, yeah. Where else?
I would, yeah, but recovered in the car, which is,
Yeah.
definitely robbery was no motive there.
Right. Okay. Was there some other stuff? I can't remember.
The harassment information, we brought up the credit card ring, the church, all the things going on at this
The
time,
time,
the
the things.
relationships, the church she was involved in, the credit card ring, and the harassment at work. And you did say that she was cleaning toilets. When she became a supervisor, all of a sudden she's filing grievances, sort of a by the book person, and then her job role also suddenly became, you clean the toilets. That became part of her responsibility.
Yeah, as a
So,
supervisor.
as a supervisor.
Yeah.
And that is not sourced by a source, but which is in 1996, Unsolved Mysteries. It aired this case, and that's when it became national, and a ton of attention to it. And that is said in the Unsolved Mysteries.
In the Unsolved
report.
Mysteries.
Yeah,
look at
a
that.
lot of information in the Unsolved Mysteries report, and we can get into that. Well, I'll get into a few that I highlighted, and we'll get into what we're going to speak of in the episode. But I thought these were of note and of interest.
Yeah.
Northwest Unsolved Mysteries. This was a big deal at the time, 1996. This was the show.
And this is how you got information out.
Oh,
I mean, there was
my
no social
God.
media.
Yeah.
So it,
Robert Stack.
short of a newspaper, this was the way.
Big national,
Right.
if not worldwide.
I don't know.
Northwest Airlines refused to participate.
Maybe they didn't want to shed light on the
Well, I don't know.
harassment or the
Yeah, I guess.
credit
but,
card stuff.
we did touch on, and I asked you this before because I'm trying to keep track. So we did bring up Sue's diary. That was a major turn of events in the case. The family even thought this was a random killing. I'm not sure if I told you guys that.
Yeah.
I've been reading a lot, doing a lot of dives over the past week, and the family and friends and people thought this could have been this was a random killing. Then the diary was discovered.
And the mother found the diary in her room, which we did discuss that,
Yeah.
but it was like a year later.
Little
wasn't
over
it?
a year later. So found the diary that documented all this harassment. But I thought the diary only covered the first 8 months of her time at Northwest.
Okay.
All the other harassment and everything was corroborated by coworkers, lots of affidavits, so tons of witness statements and all of that. But it stopped there. I just thought that was of note. I did say in the last episode too, we were talking about Sue's faith and how strong it was, and how she's called to this church. Two people that she went to the church with, and one she was in a relationship with close to her end, at her end, that she was by the book, a go-getter, and sort of wasn't scared to use all that was available to her
Right.
at work,
Yeah, we
filing
talked about this,
grievances and
yeah.
all that.
Mhm.
I sort of portrayed her as not scared, which I feel like I did,
Yeah.
which I probably shouldn't have spoken to that, but she was very, from this person that was close to her, said her faith really, she felt doing the right thing and was more important, and she trusted in her God.
But that doesn't mean she wasn't scared.
Yeah, I just feel like I sort of maybe put it that way.
Yeah.
And then per the Unsolved Mysteries episode too, her coworker, which I was also it's been in multiple accounts that it was her best friend, Deborah, Her sister's name was Deborah too, just,
Okay, so
just
best
so you
friend's name
know.
was Deborah.
Yeah.
Sister's
And
name
I have
was
gotten
also
that
Deborah.
confused.
Yeah, so have I. Yeah.
Deborah Bezekas, and I have reached out to her and have not heard a response through social media.
This was her best friend.
Yes, this is what it's been said in multiple places. They had a meeting with Northwest Airlines that did not go well. She worked there as well.
Okay.
During the meeting, Sue became upset, started to cry. Deborah was concerned about the emotional toll that the harassment was causing in Sue's life.
Yeah.
And she told Deborah that she was scared, but did not elaborate on who she was scared of. And Deborah believed she was afraid for her life.
Okay.
So
Well, that tracks. I mean, that's appropriate.
it is
for what was going on. Yep.
Yes, with the type of harassment and
Yeah.
that was going on, and we don't know what else Sue knew as far as the credit card ring
Right.
and all of that.
Mhm.
So I just wanted to be clear about that. I have often said through reports that there was a telephone call
Yes. Before she
before
left.
she left.
Uh-huh.
And I have said that's not confirmed. In the Unsolved Mysteries episode, it does say that around 1 a.m. she received a telephone call from an unidentified person who wanted to meet her. Marlene, her mother, believes the call was from someone Sue trusted who lured her to a meeting with her killer.
Okay.
And that's been in multiple places.
Mhm.
I just haven't personally heard that from the family.
Oh, you
or
haven't
law
seen a phone
enforcement.
record, or you haven't
Yeah,
seen it.
yeah, or
yeah.
I haven't seen it in any access I've had to anything police reports.
Yeah.
And I did think I mentioned that I did put a FOIA request in.
Yeah, that's a Freedom of
I can't-
Information Act request.
Never speak. We're at was Aunt Lizzie. Aunt Lizzie.
Aunt Lizzie from
Anytime we can't speak, I'm just going to reference my Aunt Lizzie from Charlestown.
Aunt Lizzie from Charlestown. But a Freedom of Information Act, which you have the right as a citizen to have in any case, cold, ongoing, ended, closed. I think the only time you can't get them is juvenile and maybe domestic.
You have to. I've learned now that and I have another one. I just want you all to know it. That was denied. I have another one I sent because you have to keep trying. Don't give up. You have to change the wording. You have to be very specific in what you want.
Mhm.
You can't just blanketly say, give me all the information to.
Yeah, a case that's for 30,
You know,
going on for 30
Yeah,
years.
no, they're
Yeah.
not going to do that.
Yeah.
And I also put in a request for all the documents for, as I touched on before, the harassment, the family did file suit, Massachusetts discrimination, I forget the agency, I apologize, MCADA, Massachusetts, the discrimination agency of Massachusetts.
Yeah.
I did put
To get the transcripts from that
to get
case.
the transcripts. Oh my God, what is it rubbing off?
I don't know,
Lizzie?
Lizzie.
Oh, thank God we
Would
just
be
made
wicked honest.
Thank God
without
we
a
made an
little bit of-
executive decision not to. And picture trying to edit this. I mean, or hiring someone.
No.
Go bankrupt.
Forget it.
I did put in a request to them for everything, and I got they don't have anything. But this was also 1990s.
So they've changed electronic records
Yes.
to whatever. But
So I researched sort of how to do this more, and then change. I could add family names.
Did they
just
video-
Northwest Airlines.
did they video cases like back then? Do they, or it would just be
like doing like depositions and things like that?
Well, like for
Oh,
her,
like in a court?
yeah.
I don't think the discrimination, that wouldn't be in a court. I don't think. That was just, and I also thought it was of note, and I remember this when this aired, there was a Law and Order, the show Law and Order Criminal Intent, there was a fictionalized episode of this case.
Get out.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I remember seeing it. Yeah. It was
like a based on true story type thing. Wow.
And they always, a lot of Law and Orders, they'll say inspired by actual events.
Okay.
So I thought that was of note. I think was that it? Any other notes that I have? Oh, and then you just brought up that on Sunday you had read or heard in her show she missed a baby shower that day.
Yeah. So
I don't know
you
anything
had
about
said something about having her. She missed a big event, which was going wedding shopping with her sister, Deborah. But in some of the podcasts that I listened to and some of the YouTube shows and some of the other deep dives that I did listening to all the things that have been presented about her, it was that there was a co-worker's baby shower in the midst of this. It was 30 hours or so since she
I
had been
feel
missing.
like-
So at some point she also missed a baby shower. So I don't know the truth behind that. I don't know but I never heard anything about her missing the wedding dress shopping with her sister, but you knew about that. So I didn't know if one was being confused for the other. Not that it matters all that much, but
Sean, the officer who worked this case, has 30 years of his own notes and research on this case
yeah.
that I am going through. And going through this, it's like you said, it's like a beautiful mind, and some like I have
Yeah.
like, and it's actually a horribly messy mind.
Yeah, yeah,
'Cause
yeah,
I'm,
yeah.
I'm just post-its and this, and I'm just, oh, like that, and I'm like a bit of a dog with a bone, because I keep, I'm texting Joe and Sean, or you, and I'm and I'm going, oh my God,
Yeah.
at first, and then they're going, oh, I can't believe you discovered this, and then I found this person, and I post-its on this, so I'm
Yeah.
reading about, I'm going through it all, but I'm also trying to organize it
And reach out and try
and
to,
reach out.
yeah.
So I'm
All
like,
of
I
that.
think I read that, but I'm putting the key points together first. Then
Yeah.
the smaller things that aren't confirmed, or things that aren't
Yeah, they
maybe
get
aren't
lost.
relevant,
Yeah.
because we've gotten fairly far in a very quick period of time. And
Right.
I'm not gonna, I mean, I will keep teasing that to you, but
Yeah.
it's a bit wild how
Yeah.
how
We're not gonna get there yet.
we're going to work our way there. And that doesn't mean we still have to work our way through it. And
Yeah.
we want to work it, we want to work through with you guys. We want to hear what you have to say, because there's a lot of information out there. And I will say, one of the things I've done is I've scoured Reddit, the Facebook community page groups, all the comments, the hundreds and thousands of comments on all the videos of the case that have been aired, the
Mhm.
Inside Edition and blah, blah, whatever's. And I found a lot of things in these comments where it seems a lot of people, we discussed this, know what happened, or you said, think they know what happened.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of information.
So we were gonna talk about, we do want to move on to, I think the next thing we were gonna talk about was her relationships, because my thing that I am always stuck on is that it's always the spouse. Not always.
I don't think you're unique in that.
No, it's always the spouse. But prior to doing that,
Boyfriend.
Diane did want to bring up, there are theories in this case already. I mean, there are the people that do the YouTube shows say their theories. The cops have their theories. Has investigated it over the years, has their theories, and they're all for different reasons. So she just wanted to, you can speak to it. I mean, you can say what you wanted to do.
Well, I don't want to take you on a lot of people have followed this case. I think we have a lot of people in this area that are
Mhm.
hopefully
Yeah.
watching, and I don't want to take you on some ride without addressing the elephant in the well, the known elephant, and that's the wrong analogy, because the elephant would be the known, what is known.
Oh, the known theories that were out there
Known
that
theories,
never,
the
that by the way,
theory.
never went anywhere. This is still a cold case. There's never been an arrest made. This is a cold case. So these theories have not gone anywhere. So these are just theories.
And we really want to, no, neither one of us are going to ruin lives or
Mhm.
dredge up people that have moved on with their lives. But Sue didn't get the opportunity to have a life after 27.
Mhm.
I want to just address what is sort of known, and we're going to get into that much later
Mhm.
deeply. But it is fairly common knowledge that people at the airport were harassing Sue, and there was a couple of names that were very predominant in this, and in the credit card ring. The three names constantly come up: Joseph Nuzzo,
No.
Robert Brooks, and I'll just say, well, Joseph Ferretra. And I will say, Joseph Ferretra never was found got in any trouble for the harassment
Harassment.
for Sue.
Right.
He did have to apologize to another female coworker for something. He
But
did
no.
not. And I've spoken to multiple people. Some people aren't the biggest fans of him. Some people think he's absolutely wonderful. So this is, and I just want to speak to that. He did serve time for the credit card ring. Robert Brooks and Joseph Nuzzo, on the other hand, they're deeply embedded together in everything you sort of read. And they were both served time, both indicted, convicted in the credit card ring, both deeply involved in the harassment, although Joseph Nuzzo did end up getting disciplined, put on leave, brought back.
And then
Brooks
go again.
got spoken to, had to apologize, things like that. But Joseph Nuzzo, there was, after the credit card all came out, indictments, convictions, there was a grand jury that convened for Sue's murder. This case fell apart.
When you are accusing someone of a crime, you have a grand jury that needs to agree with them and indict them. So just for people that don't know that, you don't just get arrested and then you all of a sudden go on trial. It's like you have
you have to.
a grand jury peers that either agree with that the prosecutor has enough to go on to convict you, or they don't.
And,
And
we're gonna
it's
get
been
into
said that
that.
you can indict a ham sandwich. So it's
Yeah,
like
so that is,
the
and,
fact that they weren't able to indict that.
when we get into, we're gonna have an attorney on, and when we get into this court case, US versus Brooks, which we'll get into all of this, that, and they're trying to get him to flip on Joseph Nuzzo for the murder and say some things. Brooks had already spoken against Joseph Nuzzo for the credit card, and a lot of stuff happened in this, and we're going to break it down. But
so we'll get into that more.
I want to speak to that. We are not saying Joseph Nuzzo did anything. We don't.
No.
But his harassment and the escalation
Mhm.
and the multiple witness accounts, things that he did.
Well, we were saying like sometimes when your behavior warrants the accusation, it's, not
Yes.
to be an asshole, but sometimes if you're going to be,
He didn't sound like a good man.
especially not to her.
To-
I don't know
to
what he,
her.
I don't know what he did outside of that,
No
but
one knows.
right,
He could be
so-
a wonderful person.
it
We don't
doesn't,
know.
it also doesn't mean he murdered her.
It
So,
does not.
but there's no shock that there's some fingers pointed in that
From
direction.
a law enforcement perspective, and we are not law enforcement, but there's Robert Brooks didn't. He had left the airport at that point right before the murder.
Yep.
Although it's going to come to light that he lied about his whereabouts, but we'll get into that later.
Mhm.
And these again are people that are baggage, worked at the airport, and Sue's now the supervisor. And
They were involved in the harassment and the credit card.
yes, so he had
Motive.
harassment that was escalating, a lot of resentment, revenge mentality.
Yeah, retaliatory
Yes,
stuff.
openly stating it.
Yeah.
and escalate.
Like, I'm gonna kill you.
and
stuff
then
like
right
that.
yes,
Threats.
and then right before, and that's here's the I'm gonna kill you was not something that was documented that he said, but there was.
Well, I just mean generalized threats. I'm saying generalized threats against her. That you're making threats against someone and then
there's
someone's murdered.
graffiti, there's things
Yeah.
said to coworkers, there's car vandalism, there's stakeouts in at her house. So there's and some of these are reported by other people, these are
Mhm.
reported by other people, but these are documented all over the place. And so there's anger there. And I wanted to speak to that. And he also got fired a couple of weeks before her murder after he was just spoken to about the credit card ring. So there's a lot that would point to him. That does not mean he did it.
No.
And he's lives on the North Shore. I think keeps his nose to the ground. There's nothing remotely anything about him that anyone knows of, but his name has popped up a lot. We are aware of this. We know this. We will discuss.
We'll circle
this.
back to
We'll
it,
discuss-
but we just
we're
wanted
gonna
to bring it up.
bring it. We want to discuss and go through the relationship Sue had first, because Keri's very interested in that.
Yeah, it was the first place I would look if I was an investigator. I'm gonna put my investigative hat on. The first place I'm gonna look is, I guess it's tough because with the harassment and the credit card ring and all those circumstances coming up. But to be honest with you, also, if they didn't know so much about the harassment and stuff like that at the time before her mother really found the diary and all that stuff, your first instinct is to check out everybody she was
Oh yeah,
was involved with.
I think that's probably why one I know from one of the officers that I'm dealing with, one of these people she was in a relationship with, I think he was his prime suspect for a while.
Yeah. I mean, that's natural too. Yeah. So why don't we get into that? What do you go in a little bit of a chronological order? Everything kind of takes place over this
A short period of
couple
time,
years that she's working at the airport, because who cares who she dated when she was 14 and has nothing to do with that. So basically, where are we starting?
So I think we'll start we're not here to discuss and dissect everything. We don't know. We know
No,
we know
just
some,
a
we know
little
some bare
rundown.
bones. I think there's a few that I know a little bit more. One was gracious enough. One of her relationships was very kind man who was gracious enough to speak to me, and that was a very heartfelt conversation. And it was really, wow, did it just so humanize her and just broke down in tears. But so late 80s early Northwest airline years, late 80s, she had a relationship with, I don't think I'm going to say last names because what's the point?
No, this is
Yeah.
so
Some of these names, actually all of them except one, or no, actually two are in. Sue was a single girl in her 20s, dating, couple of long-term relationships in between the rest of us.
Yep.
Nothing.
sometimes they overlap. What do you know?
Yeah.
Anyways.
she had a pretty long relationship with a man named Mark. He worked at the airport. During a lot of the conflict, the harassment and stuff, Mark was very aware of this. Sue reportedly turned to him during some of the harassment incidents, and he was like 89, 90.
Okay.
I think they talked of marriage and things. Mark of note was the person. So I believe we discussed that Sue was missing a necklace. They never recovered a necklace. Sue always wore a necklace with
The
a
cross on it.
cross and a Snoopy charm. Mark was the one that bought her the cross.
Okay.
Mark was the one, there was a confrontation with, I just talked about Robert Brooks, that Mark was the one that there was sort of involved in this confrontation after damage to her work radio.
Oh, so he kind of stood up for her and was like,
Yeah,
okay.
and then Brooks got into it with him, whatever.
Okay.
But Mark was around when this sort of was all happening and everything. And I did reach out to Mark. I think it seemed like their relationship was like 2 years or something like
Oh, wow.
that. And I do believe, I think I read that in a letter.
But
or-
clean breakup
I don't know how
prior
they
to
broke
this,
up. I
or
don't know. I know that I know he went to the services, and I believe like the family home and stuff. So still cared.
yeah,
all that.
still
So,
friendly and stuff.
yeah,
Okay.
I don't know how they broke up. But I read a letter she wrote to a friend of hers that very caring and seemed like a nice
About Mark.
relationship. Yeah,
Okay. That's Mark.
that's Mark. This is unconfirmed. There's been multiple accounts from coworkers. There was some, like every time, anywhere you work, and this don't forget, these are women in a predominantly male
Yeah.
job.
Mhm.
Lots of guys, very
Yeah.
few girls.
Yeah, yeah.
So there's some intermingling with
Yeah.
with workers. So Robert Brooks, who harassing
We
her,
were just talking about him. Yeah.
all that, broker radio, all of that, and there was some reports that they had a little bit of a thing at some
Fling
point.
thing.
No, a relationship, but
Yeah.
and I'm not sure if he was married or married after. I'm not sure, but there was some slight overlap in the reporting I saw. Was he married or married right after? I'm not sure.
Okay.
But there was, and that's unconfirmed. And again, coworker at Northwest Airlines, the radio incident, he threatened Mark after that whole confrontation with the radio. And just some long-term airport accounts suggested a possible earlier flirtation or brief fling. So we don't know how far this went.
Okay.
Could be nothing.
Well, if it wasn't, she's like rolling over in her grave going, no.
And she's like, oh God. No.
Yeah.
But never confirmed in court records. I also did see, it was noted by a couple of coworkers too, that prior to her death, they had resolved their differences. I just do want to note that.
Her and Robert Brooks.
Well, her and Robert Brooks.
Okay.
There was also an account where there's a supervisor. I thought he was of note because we discussed,
He gave her a ride once and punched her out, or
So,
allowed her to punch
there was
her.
a witness account. This woman was very affected, a coworker was very affected by Sue's death and had to seek mental health help. And she had stated that Sue got permission to leave during her shift and go somewhere. And she was like, hold my
Hold
things.
my stuff.
And this supervisor actually drove her to her car. And that's her supervisor. And so he's approving.
Yeah, he's
So
allowing her to
there
leave.
was some reports that they might have had a thing, or he
Okay.
liked her. There was something with that. And we don't know. Just coworkers suspected there may have been a closer personal familiarity, that the supervisor may have had feelings for her. I think we'll save the last two because they're going to lead right into the church and we can take it from there. But then there was another airport worker, Al. He's in public. It's sort of well known. That was a real relationship. So the
Okay.
only real confirmed relationships are Mark and Al. I mean, the rest is
Yeah.
whatever.
The rest of
Um,
flirty, dating, flirty,
More just
whatever.
speculation, workplace.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Al was an airport. He worked for a different company, but at the airport, he was a fueler for the
Okay.
planes. They had a relationship before she got into the church. And Al seemed like a nice guy. He didn't share her enthusiasm for this church. Not feeling it.
Oh, I remember him now.
Al just like different lifestyles and all that. And then Sue's faith was becoming really a priority, and he was sort of not feeling it. But they had a real relationship and all that. And
he worked at the airport too.
he worked at the airport as a fueler.
So he was not involved in the harassment and not involved.
Oh God,
Okay.
no.
Okay.
And I don't think he spoke to law enforcement afterwards. I believe it was him that I will
Declined.
refused, which I don't ever judge that, or got a lawyer, got an attorney. He was reportedly seen at her funeral wailing.
I would immediately get an attorney if
I
I
would
was
too. I
if
would
I
never
was
have
the
a-
ex
no
of somebody
judgment
that
towards us.
died. Yeah, absolutely. No.
And I have reached out in 2 places that I could to Al and a family member that I found some information. Not sure if it's quite accurate. Robert Brooks, I have also reached out to. I have not heard back, so
Okay.
we will see.
Mark.
Oh, same Mark I've reached out to. And Mark, actually, we
Excuse me.
share a few, I think, mutual friends or friends of friends in common. I believe he was from Everett, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
And then there's 2 more I just want to go through. And one of them I spoke with, and I just think it's a great conversation we had. And it took a lot for him to speak. I found him through his brother and digging through Reddit. I've seen his name in multiple reports. And then the other one is who was close proximity at the time, and as I said, Sean liked for a while. Does not mean anything. That
As
does
a
not mean they
suspect.
did it. And he declined to speak and asked me to respect his privacy, which
So the 2 most current relationships to the murder,
we are gonna.
that's what we're gonna start.
We're gonna start next episode, and then we can get right into the church and some witness accounts, sort of what I know what the church was like. I know thus far, and I do have more emails and things to follow up on.
Yeah.
But I think I know enough with the church that we can get into. And again, if anyone's watching that has any information, Suffolk County State Police, but we'd love anything you want to share
Yep.
with us, any corrections, please feel free. And we want to respect Sue's family. And Sue, this is hard to do. We're nervous about it. It's a big undertaking. We're really just trying to shed light on this. I'm really pissed about this. I'm pissed that this is over 30 years. No one's talking.
Yeah.
People are still scared. We're scared.
Ridiculous.
We brought that up. But I'm sick of it. This end of her life. She didn't need to die.
No, I know.
And this is bullshit.
Yep.
And I'm getting mad about it. And sometimes I think I'm a little too nice when it comes to it. But we're just reporting. And we have to just go through it. And we want to go through it with you. We want to know what you think.
Yep.
Any information?
Yep.
Cops, but we are also here for just anything else.
Yep. And subscribe to the channel. We'll put our email up. You've seen the MSP number flashing throughout the episode.
And
Get in
really
touch.
liking and subscribing will really bring, the more you like and subscribe, if you subscribe and like, the YouTube algorithm gets really
Or share
rocking,
it.
sharing.
Or
And
yeah.
it's like, let's really try to get some information for
Or comment. There has to be some viewer engagement.
There has to be
to help.
movement, and we want movement. And I know people watching this, and I know the community, I know the North Shore especially. They want answers. Everyone remembers this case. I mean, maybe not everyone, but
Everybody our age remembers.
everyone our age.
We happen to
and
be out to
older.
dinner, randomly speaking to some woman who grew up in Topsfield, and she was like, "Yep, I know exactly who you're talking about."
Yeah.
I mean, took 2 seconds.
Everybody. The girl
Yeah.
on the billboard, which is tentatively the title of my book, the girl that the airport murder.
Yeah.
And this is not fair. This family's been suffering for years.
Yep.
And Marlene, her mother, is now in her, I think, early 80s.
Yeah.
And she's just wants some closure.
Yeah.
I mean, let's give something to her.
I know.
Come on, guys. Let's get together.
Come on, guys.
Sure. Come on, people.
Come on, people. Let's rally.
Together, everybody. No, I'm not going to
Sorry, I
sing.
keep dropping everything.
So anyway,
Singing is for the other. Singing is for Tuesdays.
and join us Tuesdays to get wacky and wonky and now then Fridays to
sing
do
and
crime and sing and
Nothing's over, and
be regular crazy and not be investigative reporters, just be disasters,
yeah.
which is such a juxtaposition, but
Yeah. Well,
and I will not use that word on Tuesdays.
no. Juxtaposition is only for Fridays.
Only for Fridays.
I'll see you Tuesday. We'll see you Friday. Hopefully, we see you both. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.